that's awesome. It's good seeing you. You too. Hey, family. How are you all? I'm not sure.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please locate your seats. The ceremony will begin momentarily. Take this opportunity to silence or set to vibrate all electronic devices for the duration of the ceremony. In accordance with military protocol, our military members should stand at the position of attention during the playing of our national anthem and nod to render a salute. We invite our civilian guests to place their right hand over their hearts. We also request that you adhere to our social distancing guidelines. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party, playing of the national anthem, and remain standing for the invocation by Chaplain Johnson.
If you will, join me in prayer. Mighty God, we rejoice today with these NCOs who have proven their mettle to enter into the senior NCO ranks. Be with them and their families as we honor them and as they prepare to be Master Sergeants in the United States Air Force. As they add the roof to their chevrons, help them remember that they are to be a covering for the airmen they lead. But the roof also has a pointy end to offer their subordinates encouragement when needed. I ask that you would continue to walk with them as they step into this new, exciting, and demanding endeavor as Master Sergeants. We thank you for this time of celebration. Your name be praised forever. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Chaplain Johnson. Good afternoon. On behalf of the 2nd Bomb Wing, welcome to the 2020 Team Barksdale Senior Non-Commissioned Officer Induction Ceremony. I am Senior Master Sergeant Mark Brooks from the mighty 2nd Munition Squadron, and I will be your narrator for today's ceremony.
Cool.
Today we honor airmen selected for promotion to the rank of Master Sergeant. Becoming a Senior Non-Commissioned Officer is the result of years of technical expertise, leadership, and supervision. It also requires a concern for others and the ability to face challenges on behalf of all airmen. At this time, we would like to introduce our host, the Wing Leadership Team, Commander, 2nd Bomb Wing, Colonel Mark Dimitrison. Command Chief, 2nd Bomb Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Brent Chaddick. And today's guest, the First Sergeant, Air Force Global Strike Command, Chief Master Sergeant Robert Tibby II. Distinguished guests join us today. Representing the Air Force Global Strike Commander, Major General Thomas Owens II. Individual Mobilization Augmentee to the Command Chief, Air Force Global Strike Command, Chief Master Sergeant Shelley Cohen. Presenting the 8th Air Force Commander, Colonel Richard Collins. And Command Chief, 8th Air Force, Chief Master Sergeant Belvina Smith. Lastly, we welcome all commanders, directors, chiefs, family members, and friends joining us in person and virtual. We would also like to thank you for your support in celebrating this significant career milestone for these airmen. Today's ceremony is a graduation of sorts. Our inductees completed a 4-day in-resident professional military enhancement course held here at Barksdale. This course included installation subject matter expert instructors who assisted in preparing the inductees for increased levels of responsibilities. On behalf of the 2nd Bomb Wing Commander, we would like to thank those instructors for their mentorship. Today, we conduct one of the oldest military traditions by publicly recognizing these airmen selected for promotion. Through this formal induction event, we welcome those promoted into the Senior Non-Commissioned Officer Corps. We honor that tradition by inducting 48 airmen into the Senior Non-Commissioned Officer Corps. Chief Master Sergeant Chaddock, will you please come forward to introduce our guest speaker for today's ceremony?
Good afternoon. If you're like me, one of the first meetings that I had when I arrived here about 70 days ago, they said, hey, Chief Tibby's going to be the class mentor for the Senior NCO Induction. And I know what you're asking yourself, who's Chief Tibby? That's kind of what I said. But once he came over and met me, I was like, this is the guy. This has to be the guy. There's no other person that could do what he's about to do. And so I want to give you just a little bit of the Air Force institutional piece on Chief Tibby, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of what Chip Chaddock knows about Chief Tibby. Chief Master Sergeant Robert M. Tibby II is the first sergeant for the Air Force Global Strike Command at Barksdale Air Force Base, Louisiana. The command's mission is to develop and provide combat-ready forces for nuclear deterrence and global strike operations. As the first sergeant, Chief Tibby is responsible for advising the commander on all matters influencing the professional development, training, combat readiness, utilization, and morale and mission effectiveness of all assigned and enlisted personnel. Additionally, he serves as the command's functional manager for assigned first sergeants, and Chief Tibby oversees the manning and utilization of all the first sergeants assigned to Global Strike Command. He has approval authority for first sergeant applications and manages their AEF deployment taskings when they go overseas to other places. And he takes care of about 31,000 highly disciplined professionals operating in locations around the world. Now, this young Chief Master Sergeant entered the Air Force in 1993 of December. He's going to celebrate his 27th birthday in the Air Force this fall or around Christmas. And he entered as a munitions systems specialist and was honor grad for the munitions systems specialist course at Lowry Air Force Base. He's had multiple deployments around the world, such as Operations Southern Watch, Operation Enduring Freedom, and Joint Task Force Horn of Africa. Wow. But here's what I know about Rob Tibby. I said, hey, Rob, talk to me, man. Let me know what you're most proud of in your current assignment. His response: increasing the professional development opportunities for Global Strike First Sergeants with the help of A9 and his partnership, along with helping Air Force Center for Strategic Deterrence and our annual Striker Conference held at basic training. Let's say, hey, well, what else do you have on your plate? What's the last book you read? He said, well, the last book I read was The Mentor Leader by Tony Dungy, because reading should be educational. Break. The second book I read was 007, Carte Blanche by James Denver, because reading should also be fun. Well, okay, Rob, I got you, man. What are the traits that you believe as a 27-year leader makes a great person and a great senior NCO? His was easy. He said 3 P's: patience, passion, and perseverance. Okay, man. here's the fastball. What's your most rewarding time as a senior NCO? The last 9 years that I've been able to wear the diamond and be a first sergeant and helping out all the families. So ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat as I introduce you to my newest best friend, Robert Tibby II.
I don't know if it's a treat, Chip, but thank you for the warm introduction.
Paul?
So it's an amazing thing we get to do today, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, celebrate with these leaders as they transition to the senior NCO tier. Awesome. And Master Sergeant and Master Sergeant Selects, you made it to your induction ceremony. I hope that this moment and this memory is something you'll remember forever. Congratulations. So first things first, because we're lucky enough to have some of them here, even though we were in a COVID environment. When we were doing the introductions at the beginning of the script, it went kind of quick, and we didn't spend an appreciable amount of time where we should have. So can I get another acknowledgement, a proper acknowledgement for the families and supervisors who have also turned in a tremendous effort to support and build these leaders, to build them and support them and push them to this milestone where we're at today. Awesome. Colonel Demetrius and Chief Chaddock, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity that you gave me to spend a week with Barksdale's newest senior NCOs and play a role in their transition to the senior NCO Corps. This week has been an absolute blessing, and I hope I did enough for our people.
Cool.
So throughout the week, we took a lot of briefings, and we spent a lot of time extracting leadership lessons from both the briefers and from the information. This ceremony is the end of our academic week, so we're going to take an opportunity to squeeze in one more lesson. You thought you were getting a graduation speech? It's just more learning. So this is the lesson of the babbling brook. The time was the 4th century BC, the period of the warring states in China. The Grand General of the Qin state was seated in his chamber in the king's palace with Mei Yong, the soon-to-be appointed general of the 3rd Division at his side. A messenger, Lieutenant Yu, had just arrived with a report on the logistics of the upcoming battle between General Li's 1st Division and the 2nd Division of the Wei State, led by General Su. Grand General, said Lieutenant Yu, I bring good news. The 1st Division enjoys a significant advantage. Our troops outnumber the 2nd Division's 4 to 1, weaponry is in abundant supply, and the regiment remains well fed. General Li bids me assure you that victory will be ours. The Qin flag will fly forever. As the Grand General glanced at the report, a look of anguish came over his face. He clenched his fists and ordered Lieutenant Yu to dispatch reinforcements and return to the battlefield at once. After the lieutenant had fled, the Grand General walked over to the balcony and looked out to the horizon. Alas, he said to Mei Yong, yet another division of our state will fall. Mei Yong was perplexed. Grand General, he said, forgive my impudence, but I fail to understand your conviction. General Li's division has many times the manpower and weaponry of General Su's division, and yet you are convinced that victory will not be ours? How can this be? The Grand General looked somberly at Mei Yong, but did not answer. Instead, he brought Mei Yong to a large lake behind the palace. When the Grand General and Mei Yong were seated on a rock, the General threw a small piece of paper into the water. It did not move, but simply floated on one spot. After observing the still piece of paper for some time, Mei Yong became restless and inquired again, Grand General, what does this mean? I have meditated on the paper for more than 1 hour, and your lesson has not enlightened me, nor provided the answer to my question. Once again, the general did not respond, but had Mei Yong follow him. They walked until they came to a very narrow, babbling brook. Again, the Grand General threw a small piece of paper onto the water. This time it did not stand still, but sailed swiftly along and vanished. The Grand General turned to Mei Yong. Now do you understand why General Su's regiment will carry the day and not ours? Mei Yong, still perplexed, asked the Grand General to explain further. Mei Yong, said the general. "The 1st Regiment is like the lake, large with much weaponry." But note General Lee's position. He so arrogantly assumes victory that he does not fight. He was not with his people. He has stationed himself behind the back line. It is not so with General Sue. He is in the front line, side by side with his people. Remember, weaponry and manpower are important, but it is the leader's commitment that determines the victory. 4 days later, Lieutenant Yu and his reinforcements arrived at the site of the battle. The "we," not the Chin flag, had graced the sky. The 1st Division had been defeated. So, inductees, here's something for you to reflect on this weekend. One of those leaders was more committed, more relevant than the other. One was obviously in the leadership arena, side by side with the people, and it made all the difference that day. What kind of leaders will you be? How will you lead your teams? What will be the culture you create in your work centers, and will you take extreme personal ownership of it? Will you be side by side with your teams when the leadership work needs done? Our teams need you to be relevant leaders. Leaders that take ownership of the culture and care deeply for our people. And being a relevant leader requires a few things of you. The first of which is you must be present. You have to show up. Have you ever bought a raffle ticket and on the ticket are printed the words, "You must be present to win"? Well, senior NCOs, you must be present to win. Yes, there's an administrative side to your jobs as leaders in the unit. Meeting slides, programs, emails, and EPRs that all need attending to. But generally speaking, and if your time is well managed, it can wait. Being relevant requires that you spend an appreciable amount of time in the work centers where our strikers are pulling a heavy load every day to execute our mission. Don't be behind them. Don't be apart from them. Be in their midst. Be present, keep a watchful eye on daily operations, and ensure your NCOs are leading airmen effectively. Remove barriers to their success. Encourage them when they have innovative ideas to do it bigger, better, faster than we've done it before. And don't just be physically present. Be fully immersed in your interactions with your people. Create hope and build trust. Engage our strikers in daily, meaningful conversations to fully know and understand the people on your teams. If you are to lead your airmen and teams well, you must be talking to them, listening to them, celebrating their successes, championing their innovative ideas, coaching them through their failures, and attending to their concerns. It requires follow-up and follow-through, but being present will position you well to build the culture we need in our work centers. Your unit's culture is a collection of symbols, stories, ceremonies, traditions, and values. It manifests itself in how we communicate with one another, how we conduct ourselves at work and rest, and how we celebrate and reward the things we say we value. Relevant leaders own the culture, are good stewards of the institution, and represent their units with pride. So get a hold of this, inductees. Everything that happens in your work centers is a reflection of you and your leadership. That's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. Every single vehicle accident is not your fault. Every CDC failure is not your fault. But if your unit has an unusually high accident rate or an unusually high discipline rate, you might consider that you have a blind spot somewhere. Chief, how would I correct a negative trend like that if I detected it in my work center? You must be present to win. Be present. Set the example and model the behavior you want from your teams. Create an environment where NCOs and airmen want to be on our team and want to come to work. When the time comes to re-enlist, they choose our brand because we've invested in them and our culture makes them feel valued. Create an environment where every individual is free to contribute their best, inspires us to keep learning, and produces valued results for our teams. Demand that the campus and workspaces are clean and organized, and enthuse the strikers to perform their best, because that is the standard we've set. Guard the integrity of evaluation and recognition programs. If we internalize the values and the culture we talk about, it will reflect outwardly in the performance of our duties. Care for what you are responsible for, fix what is in your control to fix, and up-channel the rest. Your commanders and officers are relying on you to monitor the command climate and advise them on matters of morale, welfare, and the effective utilization of the enlisted force. And most importantly, to own the solutions. It requires context, experience, and judgment to inform the commander on indicators of low morale, such as spikes in discipline, or indicators of a high state of readiness, such as excellent maintenance of equipment and resources. Commanders are counting on you to have taken ownership of the culture, to employ critical thinking, to understand the reasons behind the trends, and to recommend courses of action to build a winning culture. The best way to build a winning culture is to care deeply for each and every one of our airmen. If you're only ever going to learn one leadership lesson, learn that one. Demonstrate with your actions that you care, and you're going to invest in your people's personal and professional growth. If they feel that love from you, you will always have a full measure of effort from them. If we're an Air Force family, or if your unit talks about family, and we frequently describe ourselves that way, we would need a pretty good reason to not treat each and every individual with love and kindness. We would never leave a family member without a warm welcome to our base. We would never leave a family member without the training and resources they require to be successful. Senior NCOs, please ensure our sponsorship programs are welcoming newcomers like family. Connect with them and then invest in them. Inspire them and cultivate your relationships with them as you would family. Make training and development meaningful and a priority. If you take care of your people, they will take care of you. Care deeply about our people and tell our airmen that it's okay to struggle sometimes. And as leaders, you will be there for them in those difficult moments, just as you would family. Leaders that care will recover an airman that makes a mistake and encourage a late bloomer to grow. We would never leave a family member behind, and we won't leave an airman behind either. Of all the words in our airman's creed, it are those that are most deserving of being put into action. So let's finish the week with this thought, senior NCOs. We're almost there. Our strikers stand on the shoulders of giants, heroic pioneers that came before us, and you will continue that legacy. This is your moment to lead. So if the idea of leading airmen excites you, then rise to lead like giants. If the idea of leading strikers energizes you and fills you with conviction, then rise to the challenge of leadership. Take pride in what you do. Build pride in our people. Extend trust to your people and give them opportunities to grow. This will build the long-range strike team America needs. There are 0 Allied bombers. There are 0 Allied ICBMs. Our strikers are not just America's shield, they are the vanguards of freedom for the entire world. They are incredible human beings, each and every one, and they deserve to be well led. Led from the front like the piece of paper sailing swiftly down the babbling brook. Be relevant leaders that cultivate the talent in each and every individual in our team, represent our squadrons with pride, provide sound advice to our commanders, and advocate powerfully for our people. The individual makes the team stronger, and the team makes the individual stronger. That's how it works. Go be a positive influence in the lives of our people. Leaders, you worked hard for it, you earned it, you deserved it. Celebrate it well this weekend. Congratulations, I'm proud to be on your team.
Cool.
Chief Master Sergeant Tibby, please remain on stage, and thank you for those inspiring words. In appreciation for your mentorship message today, a donation in the amount of $75 has been made to the Chief Master Sergeant Gavin Memorial Scholarship Fund in your name. Well, thank you. Inductees, as you assume the rank of Master Sergeant, you will transition as technical experts from first-line supervisors to leaders of operational competence. Additionally, our new Master Sergeants will earn their first rocker easily recognized by the roof added to their chevrons. Master Sergeant inductees, please prepare for the ceremony. Each inductee was presented with a memento to highlight this significant achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, as the inductees and guests is introduced, you are encouraged to take pictures alongside our photographer. Saber team, post. As the inductees walk through the Saber Arch, they take their first steps into the senior non-commissioned officer ranks. Colonel Demetrison and Chief Master Sergeant Chaddock, please come forward. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to introduce Team Barksdale's 2020 Master Sergeants, Master Sergeant Selects, and their guests. From the 2nd Maintenance Group, Master Sergeant Dana Alderetti, and from Headquarters Air Force Global Strike Command, Master Sergeant David Alderetti. From the 2nd Bomb Wing, Master Sergeant Select Jacob Allen, accompanied by Mrs. Cora Allen. From the 2nd Maintenance Squadron, Master Sergeant Select William Askew, accompanied by Mrs. Kizuwanda Askew. From the 2nd Maintenance Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Jacob Blythe. From the 2nd Security Forces Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Brittany Burnett, accompanied by Master Sergeant Tipton Burnett. From the 2nd Logistics Readiness Squadron, Master Sergeant Stacy Carpenter, accompanied by Mrs. Violette Lemusu.
Great job.
From the Air Force Legal Operations Agency, Master Sergeant Melissa Droddy, accompanied by Mr. Charles Droddy. From the Joint Nuclear Operations Center, Master Sergeant Select Eric Dudley, accompanied by Mrs. Jenny Dudley. From the 2nd Force Support Squadron, Master Sergeant Rashawn Duffy, accompanied by Senior Master Sergeant Nikki Duffy.
Bringing it together.
From the 2nd Maintenance Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Manuel Duran, accompanied by Mrs. Katie Duran. From the 2nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Jason Early, accompanied by Mrs. Ashley Early. From Healthcare Operations, Master Sergeant Select Sarah Esparza, accompanied by Mrs. Lila Hurd. From Headquarters Air Force Global Strike Command, Master Sergeant Select Keith Folsom, accompanied by Tech Sergeant Angela Folsom. From the 2nd Operations Support Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Lakia Hamlin. From the 2nd Civil Engineering Squadron, Master Sergeant Dustin Holmes, accompanied by Mrs. Molly Holmes. From the 2nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Joseph Isbell. From the 2nd Maintenance Squadron, Master Sergeant Christopher Kecker, accompanied by Mrs. Samantha Kecker. From the 2nd Medical Support Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Nathan Knox. From the 2nd Bomb Wing Command Post, Master Sergeant Select Albert LaPointe. From 8th Air Force, Master Sergeant Select Jordan Lavallee. From the 2nd Contracting Squadron, Master Sergeant Randy McGinnis. From the 2nd Maintenance Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Ian McKaylee, accompanied by Mrs. Katie McKaylee. From the 49th Test and Evaluation Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Christopher McKellen, accompanied by Mrs. Genevieve McClellan. Nuclear Operations Center, Master Sergeant Select Anthony Mitchelmore, accompanied by Mrs. Lacey Mitchelmore. From the 2nd Communication Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Zachary Mosher, accompanied by retired Chief Master Sergeant Thomas Mosher. From the 608th Air Communication Squadron, Master Sergeant George Robbins. From the 2nd Munition Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Anthony Reisner. From the 2nd Force Support Squadron, Master Sergeant Ernesto Roman Cruz, accompanied by Mrs. Elise Montilla. From the Joint Nuclear Operations Center, Master Sergeant Kate Rule, accompanied by Mr. Bruce Moore. From Headquarters Air Force Global Strike Command, Master Sergeant Select Joseph Siegler. From the 2nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Bradley Skelton. From the 2nd Maintenance Squadron, Master Sergeant Dante Smith, accompanied by Mrs. Rakila Smith. From the 2nd Maintenance Group, Master Sergeant Select Carlos Salorza, accompanied by Mrs. Lisa Salorza. From the 608th Air Operations Center, Master Sergeant Select Shay Stewart, accompanied by Miss Sierra Brooks. From the 26th Operational Weather Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Cameron Striblin, accompanied by Mrs. Carrie Striblin. From the 2nd Operations Support Squadron, Master Sergeant LaRon Strong. From the 2nd Munition Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Rebecca Tompkins, accompanied by retired Senior Master Sergeant James Fisher. From the 2nd Force Support Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Jessica Tennell. Headquarters Air Force Global Strike Command, Master Sergeant Select Jason Waldo, accompanied by Mrs. Corrine Waldo.
One more. Oh.
From Headquarters Air Force Global Strike Command, Master Sergeant Select Jasmine Wells.
Pull.
From the 20th Bomb Squadron, Master Sergeant Alana Wesley. From the 2nd Security Forces Squadron, Master Sergeant Select Scott Wildenham, accompanied by First Lieutenant Sarah Wildenham. From the 2nd Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Master Sergeant Anthony Williams, accompanied by Staff Sergeant Tasha Jones.
Pull.
From the Air Force Manpower Analysis Agency, Master Sergeant Select Clyde Williams. And last but not least, from the Air Force Nuclear Command, Control, and Communications Center, Master Sergeant Curly Wooden.
Excellency, striker there! Woo!
Chief Chaddock, please lead the inductees in the Senior NCO charge. All inductees and senior NCOs in attendance, please stand.
This is it. We're about to cross the line. Look around you before we read this charge. You see the other senior NCOs standing with you? Current and past. They support you. You have a safety net. You will not fail. We will succeed. Let's do this. You are charged with providing highly effective leadership. You are charged with translating your leader's direction into specific tasks and responsibilities your teams understand and can execute. You are charged with being an active, visible leader. You are charged with drawing from your knowledge and experience to help leadership make informed decisions. You are charged to build professional relationships with company-grade officers striving to create the most effective leadership teams to the best accomplishment of the mission. You are charged to exceed the standards and expectations levied upon your NCOs and airmen. You are charged to ensure money, facilities, and resources are utilized in a manner that is efficient, effective, and in the best interest of the Air Force. You are charged with promoting a culture of flexible airmen capable of adapting to evolving Air Force requirements throughout a career. Do you accept these charges?
Yes, Chief!
Paul, welcome to the ranks.
Thank you, Chief Chaddock. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for the Air Force's newest senior non-commissioned officers. and Master Sergeant-Selects, please be seated. Colonel Demetrison, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you very much. I realize I'm standing between you and celebrating this fantastic achievement with your family and friends, so it won't be too long. We're good for the next 2-3 hours, right? And then we're gonna pick up swing shifts and move on from there. Awesome. Chief Smith, you with me, right? Yeah, there's my battle buddy. First of all, Chief Tibby, thank you for those inspirational words. That was fantastic. Thank you for being a great steward to our striker group here today and our newest NCOs. Marhaba. Major General Owens, Colonel Collins, all of the chiefs, supportive leaders, coaches, commanders, fellow strikers, and most importantly, family and friends of our newest Master Sergeants, thank you for coming out today and spending your precious time with us. This is a fantastic group of airmen that are elevating to the next level in their service to the nation, and they can't do it without you. So from me to you, thank you so much for that fantastic support that you have all given to our newest Master Sergeants. What a great point to be, Master Sergeants, in your service to the nation, moving forward with energy, with enthusiasm, with drive. As you are all well aware and presented with both as you pass through those sabers, I thought about how those look like those traps as you go out the gate where it's a speed bump with those tiger claws in them. And as long as you keep going in the right direction, you're good. But if you're going in the wrong direction, could spell for a rough day. And as strikers today, we are not going to dwell on the past and moving backwards. We're going to focus on the forward and moving out that way. As you leave your ranks of technical expertise and you become an operational leader, much is levied upon you that wasn't just yesterday. You are now simultaneously a leader, a follower, an advisor, and a coach. You will need to communicate with subordinates, peers, and supervisors. You will lead in the absence of guidance. You will consider the impact of your actions and how that influences others in your local operating area. You will be called upon to perform acts and find solutions to issues that you have no tactical background to lean on for guidance. This is not meant to scare you, rather to energize you for the possibilities ahead. You are entering a stage of service where you are transitioning from that technical expert, that technically focused servant, technical sergeant, where you are an inch wide and a mile deep. You are on the path to where Chief Smith and ultimately Chief Bass are, being an inch deep and a mile wide. Until you reach their pinnacle positions, embrace being in that amorphous shape, where you still retain a good amount of your technical knowledge, but that what you've lost in acumen, you've traded for knowledge in other areas. Most importantly of which is to build your network. Add to your contact list, or Rolodex, who had one of those, to find those who you can lean on for solutions, for advice, for coaching, and for support. And realize now you're in an interesting position, and that you're both on the bicycle that just had the training wheels taken off, and Chief Chaddock and I are holding the back of the seat as you ride away, letting go because we have faith and confidence in you. But at the same time, you're holding the back of the seat for the airmen that are charged under your leadership as they roll away from you with faith and confidence and trust that you are there in the event that they fall. And if you do fall, combat roll forward out of it, know that Chief and I are there to pick you up, get you back on that bike, and get you rolling forward. And we ask that you do the same with the young airmen who are charged to you. What a fantastic accomplishment. I'm proud not only for you, but humbled to serve alongside of you. We of Stryker Nation welcome you back, not as technical experts, as the technical sergeants you were, but as the leaders and coaches, as members of the top 3, and of greatest value, leaders of Big A Airmen. You are going to go on and do great things. I'm excited to see what they are. Now get after it, Strikers. Carry on.
Thank you, Colonel Demetrison. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have one last round of applause for Barksdale's newest senior non-commissioned officers in celebration of their career milestone.
Cool.
We would be remiss if we didn't recognize several agencies for their support. We extend our gratitude to the 2nd Bomb Wing Protocol Office, the 2nd Bomb Wing Public Affairs Office, Barksdale's Chiefs Group, Top 3, and the Barksdale Federal Credit Union, who helped make this event possible. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the formal portion of the ceremony. Regretfully, we will not host a reception, but feel free to congratulate our inductees as you depart. Please be mindful of the 6-foot social distancing guidelines. Please stand for the singing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party. Thank you for attending and have a great afternoon. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, soon to meet our thunder. And the boys, give her the gun, give her the gun. Down we die, spouting our flames from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame, we're down in flames. Hey, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force.
One photo I guess it was just the one up here, like when they were handing out the certificate to the chief. No, damn job. I'm wondering, you're gonna post it. I was looking to see where the hell Collins was. I was going to see. He's coming, he's here somewhere.
I know, it actually really nice.
Yeah.
Doesn't really
Give this stuff to y'all. What you got planned for the weekend? I got it. Oh, yeah. I'm about to say, man, you got to work on the weekend. Good job, Aaron. Hey, I'm about to go here to this October. I'm going. We're going. Yeah, I'm going to get
Look at that.
Hey, I'm short, 30 days. We going terminal? Hey, y'all been looking for people this year, so I'll be rushing. Hey, I got something. Thomas yet? Well, you trying to stay here? You got to talk to Tom. That job's opening up. That's what I'm saying. Oh, hell no. I'm going to go to Florida, yeah. Don't stay here. If it's the same shit, don't stay here then. But I know we got spots opening up, though, but...